Three keys to victory for our Atlanta Falcons this Sunday. So let's see. First key to victory in every game, and especially in this game, we already know that we've seen it the last 3 weeks. This is the identity of this new Atlanta Falcons team. Run the ball. Run the ball because you want to slow down that pass rush of the Washington football team. We don't want to allow them to pin their ears back. And a part of running the ball, also part of my first key. So it's kind of two keys in one. Run the ball and score early. I've always talked about the last couple of weeks as getting off to a fast start. It's important that you get off to a fast start, but you have to run the ball and stay balanced in this game, which we know we've seen with Arthur Smith. He runs the ball to open up the pass. And in this game, like I said, to neutralize a great pass rush or to neutralize a good pass rush, you have to run the ball to slow down that pass rush. If you watched the game last night between Dallas and the Eagles, Dallas was killing the Eagles on those delayed draw plays. They were killing the Eagles. The Eagles was rushing up the field, and they were just handing the ball to Tony Pollard, handing the ball to Zeke, and they was killing them, running right up the gut. So I think you do the same thing in this game. Allow these guys to rush up the field thinking that Matt Ryan's going to drop back to throw and just hand the ball off to Mike Davis, Cordell Patterson. Allow those, eat those guys up, right up the gut. Just run right up the gut. And I feel like we can get a lot of yardage. And then it's going to be, once you run that football, and I say run that football about 25 to 30 times in this game, because you want to kind of shorten the game. Like I said, don't allow the Washington football team. Chase Young want to pin his ears back. Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, those guys want to pin their ears back. So you got to run the football in this game, open up the deep play action pass. And my second key to victory in this game is Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is the X factor. In this game, especially in the red zone, we seen it Sunday, and I didn't get to touch on it in the post-game show. I kind of forgot to touch on it because it was so many good things I saw from this Atlanta Falcons team Sunday. But when you're in the red zone, keep Kyle Pitts on the field and throw him the ball. Because we seen on that one play where they threw the ball to Kyle Pitts and they called the pass interference. You can't cover. Nobody can cover Kyle Pitts man to man once you're in the red zone. Nobody can cover him, period, on the field. But you want to give him opportunities. Like, I know Arthur Smith kind of like he's being double teamed here and there. You don't want to force the ball to him, but in the red zone and anytime he's in man to man coverage for the most part, if he's not being double teamed, to me, Kyle Pitts is the X factor because of his size, even more than a Calvin Ridley. To me, I think Kyle Pitts is going to start to be the number one dude that they start to go after. I know a lot of people, have been talking about Calvin Ridley not being that number one guy, but I feel like in this style offense, Kyle Pitts is the guy that you want to give most of the targets to because of his size, because he's fearless of going across the middle, and because he's better at catching the ball in traffic. To me, our receivers, especially Calvin Ridley, he's proven over the last couple of years that he's not good catching the ball in traffic, and that's something that Kyle Pitts excels at. He can adjust to wherever the football is on the field. We've seen that Sunday. Matt Ryan just threw it up to him, and most of the times, whoever's covering him, they're going to panic because he just too big. You can't do anything. So second key to victory is target Kyle Pitts a lot. I would target him a lot in this game because I don't think the linebackers, the safeties, or the corners, nobody can cover Kyle Pitts. He's just a freak of nature. And I feel like he's starting to gain that confidence. And I want to see them open up this playbook a little bit. And then my third key to victory in this game is just play complementary football. So we need all phases to do what they do best. Cam Neasy with those punts, give us good field position in this game. Like last game, he did a good job of pinning the Giants deep in their own, in their own 20-yard line. He did a great job of punting that ball and making it tough for them and giving us good field position. If you do that, if you pin them deep, we know that the football team, Washington, their quarterback is really young. Taylor Heineke is a guy that will throw the ball in traffic. He's not the tallest guy, He's a really short quarterback. I don't even believe they say he's 6 feet tall, but I don't think he's 6 foot. I think he's like maybe 5'10", 5'11", like a Russell Wilson. He's really short. So if you can get your hands up in this game, you can possibly bat a pass and get an interception, especially if they're pinned deep in their own end zone. So the 3 keys to victory for me: get off to a fast start, run the football to slow down the pass rush. Second key to victory is give Kyle Pitts as many targets as you can, because to me, he's the X factor on this team and should be the number 1 target for Matt Ryan because of his size. And then 3 is complementary football in the special teams, like playing good field, giving us good field position. If we do those things, I think in this game, we come away with a victory.
Case Dizzy on that busy.
Yo. Hey, you kind of covered a lot of stuff that I was gonna say too, but like I said, this lets you know that the heavy hitters is kind of on the same mark here. But like you said, the main thing we have to look for is, like I said, you have. I'm gonna sound like I'm repeating what you say here, but you got to get going from the get-go. You cannot, like I said, you cannot afford to have drives ending abruptly early on. Like I said, if you want to beat this team, you have to score touchdowns early. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because, like I said, you still got to exude confidence within this offensive team, because this is where the weakness is right now as far as what we've seen these first 3 games of the season, is that the offense is not really scoring points early. They're scoring points later, but they're not scoring points early. Mm-hmm. And that can only do nothing but help your defense, because that gives your defense the confidence to know I could just go out here and make plays and just ride with the wave. My second key is that Washington football defensive line. You got to find you got. I repeat, you got to slow them down. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they done had a bad. The first 3 weeks for them, they've had bad games. Do not allow the Falcons do not need to allow the Washington football team to come in this game thinking that this is a cleanup game. This is a get right game. We can't allow that. Like I said, you got Chase Young, you got Jonathan Allen, you got Deron Payne, you got Montez Sweat. You got to slow them down, because they're coming. They are coming. So the screen game must be effective here. We haven't seen that many screens as far as what we would normally want to see. But this game, the screen game, is going to be your best friend for the Falcons. You got to get the screen game going, because linebackers, they okay, but they're protected by the front 4. And third of all, my third key is definitely going to be. That's why I said Drew pretty much hit all the damn field position.
Next week, you're gonna go first, K Styles. We're gonna let you go first.
Hey, it's all good. Like I said, you the minister. You the good guy.
We just come up and clean up anyway, so it's all good.
Exactly. K Styles the fat guy, so these folks don't take me serious at all, no way. So they get my perspective on it anyway. Field position is going to be very important. Like I said, field position and like I said, offensive line. We got to see the same performance again this week. You had a better performance against the Giants. Let's put those together. Let's put a string of games like that together, to where the offensive line is playing good for consecutive games and the special teams is playing good for consecutive games. Because we just can't have, okay, we got this one game that we needed to show up, and then the next game, all of a sudden, we ain't doing shit. It ain't going to work like that. That's not how you build a culture. You got to build a culture of consistency. So,
well, mine is going to be pretty fast. The first and foremost is about getting after. I don't know how the hell you say it. I'm gonna just say Heineken. You got to get after him. Don't let him get in a rhythm. Get after him immediately. The quarterback is the most important aspect of the offense. You can't allow him to get in any type of rhythm, whether he's scrambling, moving around. I don't think he's a guy who can move around with a little bit, but he's a lot like Matt Ryan. He's not gonna blow you away. He's just gonna, he's gonna do enough to get yards. So you can't allow him to get in any type of rhythm. And honestly, I feel in this scheme that Dean Pease, his scheme fits better with a guy like Matt, like a Tom Brady, guys who aren't very, very mobile. He teases off on those guys. So that's what I saw, especially going into this game. Daniel Jones isn't a very mobile guy. Again, that's I say it all the time. He's not going to blow you away with quickness. He got straight line speed. Once he's going straight, he can pick up some yards, but he's not that type of mobile quarterback. And the second one for me, they gotta continue to use Cordero Patterson as a decoy to kind of open up the offense. I know teams right now, they know that Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts are the guys, but in order to get those guys going, you got to continue to use Cordero Patterson in every way possible to help kind of get that rhythm. So, I'm one to be patient. You go back and see Calvin Ridley, his tweet today, not so much a tweet, but his statement with today was like, we still getting it together. And if you go back and watch Terrence Matthews' video, Atlanta Sports Unlimited, he pretty much came out and said the exact same things. Like, this is a new offense for the Atlanta Falcons. So Matt Ryan, the passing lanes that he used to seeing under Dirk Cutter are no longer there. It's a lot more narrow. It's shorter, confined spaces. He's going to get it. And when he does understand what he's going to be seeing, oh, hell is going to break loose. We're going to see Matt Ryan pass for 400, 500 yards. I can guarantee you that. So it's more so just trying to, figure out like what's working. Does this work? Does that? And then you kind of saw that on the touchdown pass to Oz. They kind of used Cordero Patterson as a decoy, and then they left that void. They had Pitts in the middle. They had Pitts on their side. Used Cordero Patterson as a guy to go outside, and that void was in a wide. He was wide open in the middle. So you kind of see, what he's doing, just using certain players. Whatever's hot, he's going with that, and I think that's what we're seeing right now until Matt Ryan really figures out this offense, the passing offense for the most part. And like I said, this is why you want a guy like Matt Ryan, so he can figure out a lot faster than a rookie. Because a rookie, you're going to need a whole year for him to kind of understand the defensive concept. And that's why you see guys like Wilson, Trey Lance is not starting. You see what happened to Justin Fields. These guys is not ready. So it isn't necessarily that they don't have the talent. It takes time to pick up a lot of these concepts. It's not easy. The third one, the tackles for the Falcons are going to have their hands full. Those are some studs up there. Montez Sweat and Chase is not a damn joke. Them dudes, when they get it, they can get after the quarterback. So them tackles, he's going to have to go to them 3 tight end sets, them 13 personnel, 12 personnel. Like, he's going to have to go to that a lot this game. And that's kind of what you're seeing a lot with Hayden Hurst. He's been used a lot as a blocker right now until they kind of find their when they find their niche as far as like their rhythm and their chemistry in the passing game. You're going to start to see him and Kyle Pitts kind of get into it. But they're going to have a handful with them 2 jokers, boy. Those some big guys. They fast. And Caleb McGarry and Matthews, they better bring it. They better put their track shoes on because they're going to be running side to side with them dudes. All right. So That's the 3 keys for the Falcons to get into the Redskins. Juke.
So the Washington football team's keys to victory. The first one will be the defensive line. We talked about it. We already, you just were talking about it. Really, it starts to me on their side as far as bringing pressure. They're gonna have to bring pressure in this game because their back end is bad. It's bad. They don't have a good secondary. They're similar to the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. To me, all of these NFC East teams, other than the Cowboys for the most part, even the Cowboys to a certain extent, all of these, the front sevens for the NFC East teams are their strength. So in this game, that defensive line is going to have to dominate this game if the Washington football team want to win. So they're going to have to cut on that tape of the Philadelphia Eagles week 1 when they played us here in Atlanta to see like what the weaknesses are. So they're going to have to test Jalen Mayfield, Hennessy. I really think that those guys is going to have their hands full. I think Chase Young and those guys, Montez Sweat, they're really good as well. But I'm not really worried about Jake Matthews, and I'm not really too worried about Caleb McGarry. I'm worried about Hennessy. I'm worried about Mayfield, and I'm worried about Chris Lindstrom just because I don't know what type of stunts and things they're going to try to run up front. And I know that Hennessy sometimes struggles with knowing where the pressure's coming from. We've seen him in the first 2 games where he was just all over the place, not blocking anybody, not knowing where the pressure was actually coming from. And we know that Ron Rivera, when he was with the Panthers, and they always had a solid defense, and now him with the Washington football team, he's a player coach because he played for the 85 Bears as a linebacker. So he understands defensive schemes. Like, that's where his bread is buttered. Like, he understands pressure. He understands having a good front seven and bringing pressure. And he understands that because he played it, Matt Ryan is once he gets into a rhythm. So his goal is going to be get Matt Ryan off his spot, get Matt Ryan rattled up front and try to confuse the young offensive line. Now, I do think that Mayfield and Hennessy and the line as a whole played well last week. And I think that Arthur Smith is not going to put them in harm's way in this game. But if I'm Washington, my first key to victory, just like my key to victory every week is, you guys know I'm big on the trenches. If we can dominate the trenches, shut down the Atlanta Falcons running game and get pressure on Matt Ryan, we can make it a long day because maybe you cause a fumble, maybe you cause a tip pass to get intercepted like the Buccaneers did. We seen last week. What's the young kid that I wanted out of Georgia? He came away with a strip sack at the end of the half on Matt Ryan. Azeez Ojulari. So that's my first key to victory for Washington is dominate the trenches on the defensive side. On the offensive side, my second key to victory for Washington would be give Taylor Heineke some short, quick passes and feed Terry McLaurin. I would try, if AJ Terrell doesn't play in this game, I'm lining Scary Terry. I'm putting him on the side where TJ Green is at. And I'm trying to run all kind of quick slants and all of the quick routes I can run and hope that he can beat him in man-to-man coverage. Because we seen last week, Dean Pease ran a lot of zone because AJ Terrell wasn't out there. And I think that TJ Green can be had because he's still a young player. Yeah, he's big and physical, but we know that Scary Terry is really twitchy. So if you can get him those quick slants and quick, especially against the zone where it's voids, Terry McLaurin is a very scary, like they call him Scary Terry for a reason. He's a scary guy because he's a guy that can take it to the house on a slant. He's similar to like an Odell Beckham. He's really twitchy, really quick, runs great routes, and has really good hands. And he's really physical. Like he's not scared, like Calvin Ridley. He's not scared to go across the middle. Terry McLaurin is one of those guys. He'll go across the middle and just take the lit. So in this game, it's going to be very important. If the Washington football team wants to win this game, is to try to single him up against TJ Green or try to run him on those quick routes, quick screens and stuff like that to get Taylor Heineke going and getting him into a rhythm. And then my third key to victory for the Washington football team is going to come down to the turnover battle. They have to get a turnover in this game. Like they have to win the turnover battle, hands down, because normally we know the NFL comes down to the quarterback position. And Matt Ryan and Taylor Heineke, we know who's winning that battle. Matt Ryan has been, 14 years in the league, MVP, he's the better quarterback, the more experienced quarterback. Taylor Heineke's a first-time starter, so I'm sure Dean Pease is going to throw all kind of exotic looks at him that he's never seen before, and it's going to be really tough for him. So it's going to come down to, in this game, a turnover battle. Can the Washington football team score a defensive touchdown, or can they, put their team on, on good field position? They're going to have to get some turnovers and put Taylor Heineke on the short field. If they don't do that in this game, I don't see them winning. But that's the three keys for the Washington team. It'll be getting pressure on the quarterback, winning the trenches, and dominating up front. The second key to victory, Terry McLaurin and Taylor Heineke on those quick routes, get the ball out fast and let Terry McLaurin, get those yak yards because he's really good at that. And then the third key to victory is going to be the turnover battle. They have to win the turnover battle. If they do those things, they can win this game.
Okay,
all right, before I go, man, we bypassed a $5 super chat from Cordaye Thomaston. Appreciate the $5. I know he said something like we yeeted his $5 super chat. But let's get back to it. He said, "How do we feel this week at the cornerback position?" It's gonna be we gonna damn see. That's all I gotta say. Because as you just heard you say about Terry McLaurin, once again, Drew hit one of my points with Terry McLaurin.
Terry, man, he
a dog, bro. Like I said, he's a dog. But like I said, this $5 super chat actually goes with one of my 5 keys, right? Well, one of my 3 keys, and that is, and this is kind of going the opposite of what Drew said as far as attacking TJ Green. I'm attacking Fabian Monroe. All them flags that he, like I said, he done been getting flags every game so far. I'm attacking that. Like TJ Green may be the younger player, but I'm attacking the guy that got the most penalties. Mm-hmm. And it ain't even Terry McLaurin that, and like I said, I ain't even gonna attack him with Terry McLaurin. I will attack him with Logan Thomas. That is going to be an issue right there. Because Logan Thomas is a monster. A lot of people don't know him like that. Quarterback converted tight end. But he can give you some plays. But yeah, my first key is gonna be basically I would attack Fabian Monroe. Like you said, at last week you got the pass interference call against the Giants in the end zone. Buccaneers game, you got the drop interception. You got a holding call. Eagles game, you got a holding call. So he's really been the most flagged corner. So I would definitely attack that. My second key, Antonio Gibson got to be involved in the passing game. You got to get him the ball in the passing game. Like I said, we talk about Scary Terry, we talk about Logan Thomas, but Antonio Gibson is one of those guys that can take a screen to the house. You saw it against Buffalo, even though they got their ass whooped. You saw big playmaking ability from him. As a lot of people don't know, Antonio Gibson played wide receiver and running back. So he's basically their Cordero Patterson. So I would utilize him and have him be the vocal point of this offense. And the third key that I got is, I've already said it before, Chase Young, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat. I'm moving them guys around. I'm going to test Jalen Mayfield. I'm going to test Matt Hennessy. I'm going to test the interior of that offensive line and see if they really got it. Because just like Drew said, that's how you win the turnover battle. You have, like I said, that for a quarterback like Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, and folks like that, you have to get pressure in the middle of the pocket. Outside pressure, not so much, but inside pressure is going to be where the key is. I want to test Jalen Mayfield. I want to see, okay, you had a good game this week. Can you do it again? Matt Hennessy, you had a better game. Can you do it again? I would use stunts. I wouldn't be surprised you're gonna see a lot of stunts from the Washington football team this week. So that'd be my 3 keys right there.
I'm gonna go a little slightly different. Because what I'm seeing with a lot of teams, they're taking unnecessary risks. I think they're taking a lot of stupid risks, thinking this is the same Falcons team. So my first key to victory actually for Washington is actually for the coaching staff. Don't get too damn cocky and like go for it on 4th down and stuff like that, because this is not the same defense. This is coached by Dean Pease, and these guys are really starting to believe in them. You saying, like, as bad as Steven Means has been at the time, I saw him getting a lot of pressure last game. Like, he was getting a lot of pressure. And, like, Grady, Fowler, those guys are really starting to get it. So don't take no unnecessary stupid risks and going for it on 4th down because you feel like this is not the same team. I like you said earlier, like these dudes had like 27 tackles apiece. Like Foyer and Dion flying around the damn ball. Like once they get going, you flying around with those guys. Like you got Dion. I saw Dion out here guarding wide receivers, dog. So that tell you that Dean Pease is not afraid to move these guys around and find your weakness and find a guy. He will put Dion on a running back. He will put Dion on a wide receiver because he's quick enough. He got the speed. So don't get too cocky, all right? Play because what I'm seeing with the Falcons, they're not conservative. They're being smart about things. And that's the way I want to be. And a lot of people is like, okay, it's 4th down. We got inches. Sometimes inches is not guaranteed in the NFL. None of yards are not guaranteed. So just because you feel like it's inches, go for it. Sometimes you got to be smart, kind of feel the pace of the game, the momentum of the game. So they got to be smart. Coaches can't be taking this team lightly. And the second one, for the most part, J.D. McKissick, former Falcon, they got to get him open in the open field and move him around, use him as a running back, use him as a receiver, use him as screens. They got to just find a way to get him the ball and, get Deion Jones and Foyer Oluokun out of spot. Because one thing that I've noticed what Dean Pease is doing with the linebackers is that you don't know who the hell is going to be the Mike from game to game. That right there is a scary thing. So get out, use your linebackers, figure out who's going to be the Mike, because again, that's something that Dean Pease been preaching. He's going to change the Mike from week to week. So it could be Michael Walker. This past game, it was Foyer Oluokun who was the Mike, and Deion Jones was just moving all around the field. So it's going to change. So you're going to need J.D. McKissick to move all over the field to try to figure out what the Falcons are going to do. And the third one, the last one, is they better get Grady Jarrett. Y'all better, I'm telling you, you better be prepared for that beast. Grady Jarrett, his sacks, he got 1 sack, but this dude is wreaking havoc. He is a damn problem in this league right now. His moves, he's using that patented spin, that swim move, and that damn thing is damn near impossible to stop because he's so quick to be so big. That's scary. So them guards, the center, they better get Grady. You better keep Grady off of Heineke because if he doesn't have the speed to get away from Grady. I seen Grady Jarrett running after, like he running after linebackers. You know what I'm saying? He's chasing down tight ends. He's moving around. You seeing him all over the field. See what he did to what's the quarterback for the Eagles? Hurt. Yeah, he chased that man down on the sideline. He couldn't get away from Grady. You seen him always around, like getting fumbles. Like Grady is just an absolute possessed monster right now. So you better contain Grady. If you don't contain Grady, it's gonna be a long night because now Dante Fowler, he's getting no one-on-ones, and we already see what he's doing when he can get one-on-ones. Chuck Smith wasn't lying. Right now, he's using all his moves. He's using the spin move. He's dipping.
Fowler is a man possessed right now. Also, he's getting his one-on-one. He winning his one-on-one. So y'all better have an answer for Grady Jarrett, because if they don't, it's gonna be a long